Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I was out for vacations, and now I'm back. So we're gonna start teaching some things about health. And thank you for watching. And I hope you enjoyed what we're gonna bring for you today. So today we're gonna talk about healthy lifestyle because lately I've been listening a lot of good shows, because I like to learn myself, but doesn't matter hours when they talk. We need to see if it's 100% true, and we have a way to figure out that too. Even though they say the next picture, it's okay. We're waiting for it to load, so let's see if it's gonna work. Did it go? No. You go? Okay. So the next one, we are at the end of the time, and this is the famous three angel message. So the three angel message is going to be preaching about the everlasting gospel and the truth about Saturday versus Sunday, and about Jesus too as our Savior. But besides that message, will be another important message that's called health message, and is part of what we're gonna see today. Because many things that I'm watching now, people are throwing a lot of studies and a lot of things, but nothing goes against God's what God says in the Bible or His books, because He created us, so He knows what the best diet is for us and the best lifestyle that we should be living. So we always need to compare with Bible. So that's the next one. So the Bible brings four laws. God's laws is the Ten Commandments and all His statutes. And then we have health law. You can see in Leviticus there is a list of clean versus unclean animals and a lot of things about health. And the people Israel, they did follow that rules. And when the endometriosis came, on that time, endometriosis was a brand new disease in United States, and I had one case like that, and I investigate on that time. And those countries that they practice those health laws from Leviticus was none among them with endometriosis. None. Because the men get circumcised, and so that's mean avoid many disease for women, because if they don't wash the parts of the head of the penis, it can create bacteria on the folding skin. So that's makes a big difference for women. So most of the women, married women in Israel, they don't have this kind of problems, the vaginal discharge or cancer or endometriosis. At least 20 years ago, when I had to do that investigation, there was no journal saying about anything. And then we have nature's law. Nature's law is, oh, the beautiful thing about God's law. When you trespass the God's law, you can go to your room and on your knees and say sorry. God can forgive you, like you ask for forgiveness your sin. Health law, that one is a beautiful law too, because once you know how your body works, the physiology, and you start agree with those laws, you can reverse disease if you're not far gone. Because if you smoke like 2 packs of cigarette a day, you're going to end up with lung cancer. And then when we pray for God to heal your cancer, it's too far gone. God can heal, but first you have to do your part. And God's answer is always yes, sing, and wait. Yes, no, and wait. And nature's law, like I say, when you learn how your body works and agree with, you can reverse disease if it's not too far gone. But even though God can practice miracles, man's law is like, for example, even though in the Bible we saw the kings, rulers, they have their own set of laws. And and still today we follow those government laws on nowadays. Next. And then we always, everything that you hear, ours, doesn't matter what is it, we always need to go to the Bible. And God wants us only to read King James Version and the old one, not the new one. So for Bible study or for anything, it needs to be King James Version. So anytime I speak, I always go see if the Bible is agree. The next one. And also, God left a prophet that when she came on that time, people were dying at young age, like 40s, because they used to eat lard, clogged up arteries. They were dying from stroke and heart attack. So God chose Ellen G. White as the prophet, and she wrote 21 books. And one of those books is called Counsels on Diet and Food and the Ministry of Healing. So God left instruction how we should be eat and what not should be eating, and how we can heal, because the medicine before was art of a healing, no anymore, because they just treat symptoms, but it always and can be still the minister of a healing, the art of healing. So and when you read those two books, you can learn a lot of things about health. Next. And here, science was created to prove God things, not to go against God with the evolution theory, all this stuff. No, science was created to prove all God's things are true. And here, physiology of a digestion. This doctor here did an experiment on his time. He was a doctor for the army. Experiments and observation on the gastric juice and physiology of a digestion, and 1797, 1847. Believe it or not, that book is still good for today, because here, when you read a book and you read those experiments on the Ellen G. White book, Counsels on Diet and Foods, they say that we should not be eating cheese, the processed one, because the cheese that was offered in Israel is A2. And here we eat A1. It's very bad for us, and the processed ones. So here, he did the experiment every single day, 3 times per day, uh, when he ate the food, because the hole that he had on the stomach, he'll put a string and hold the food and take it off all day long to see how much I digest. And he look inside the stomach to see what happened to the stomach. Like, for example, when he ate lard, the stomach would have a sickness looking inside the stomach. Like the stomach is pink, beautiful pink, and the temperature is 100 Fahrenheit. And if you eat food too hot, the body needs to cool off, and if it's too cold, the body needs to heat up. Digestion won't start processing until it's the right temperature. So this book here is a very good if you want to learn a special food combination, because he did an excellent job. And that book tells you, just to prove that the Ellen G. White book, what is written there, is true. The next one. And here, God tells you from the book of Ellen G. White why the immune system is declined. The first thing that God says is because the sin, weakness. In the word Genesis 6:12, the decline of the races because of sin. Our days were numbered to 120 days. Genesis 6:3. The patriarchs of Adam to Noah, with a few exceptions, lived nearly 1,000 years. So they have a good genes, and they did have good food. So after God, before we used to live up 1,000 years, and then God set a time for us. Now you can still live to 120 years old, healthy, But if we follow the guidance, the lifestyle, like original diet, exercise, all this stuff. Because I visit Costa Rica, and those that book, the Blue Zones, people that can live over 100 years and they still function. Because I went to Costa Rica and I did see these mountains, and literally, one of the house that I was there, the guy was 90. I think he was 95 years old, and he came to visit his daughter. He took a tax, and he was well dressed. And then I met a business owner that he was over 90 and walking. So it's really possible to live to be 120 if we had a good lifestyle. And another thing that God says that decline on health after the floods when we became carnivores. At creation, we used to have 20 times more vitality, and after He allowed us to eat meat, decline from 1,000 to I think 700, then 600, and now it's 120 years old. Our intelligence declined too. At creation, we had 20 times more intelligence. If you think Albert Einstein was intelligent, imagine when you meet someone at creation, like Adam or Eve or his kids. Before, one of the reasons that we didn't have no writing is because we could tell the stories to generation without even dropping a comma from the story. And now, if you tell me one sentence and I have to tell to the next person, I'll be missing few words already. So our intelligence used to be 20 times more. Every generation has been growing weaker, and disease of every form of affliction afflicts the race. Disease has been transmitted from parents to children, generation after generation. At creation, our size, now we are average 6 feet, but when God created us, we used to have 20 times more intelligence, 20 times vitality, and our size is 12 feet above. Okay, the giants is a different story. That was amalgamation. Incorrect diet, poor quality of blood, acute attacks of inflammatory disease, and causing premature death. God is telling you exactly here why we decline. Is your diet that you are eating like gluten, dairy, and that's causing inflammation. And then once you have inflammation, will be bad for disease. So the root of all disease is inflammation. And health laws. Now let's see what is a health law. The laws of life. The first thing on Jesus' time when he came to the earth was many sick because of hygiene problem. And he gave the book, the first 5 books of the Bible that's called Pentateuch. Over there was the Leviticus book about hygiene and what do we have to do to be healthy and the foods to eat or not to eat. So that means these people forgot about those laws. And the washing hands. And washing hands was number one failure. The circulation of a good, clean blood. The blood is the current of life. It repairs waste and nourishes the body. So if you have a bad diet, you have unclean blood and then no immune system. Uh, at very at every pulsation of the heart, the blood should be make its way quickly and easily to all parts of the body. Like for example, if I ate a bowl of ice cream last night and my triglycerides is 300, 600, how my blood is going to flow quickly and to my brain, nourish all my organs if his triglycerides is pure fat. So triglycerides is elevate when you eat the meal one day before, like pizza, ice cream, alcohol. That's elevates and will be pure fat on your blood. In order to have a good blood, we must breathe well. Full, deep inspiration, pure air, which fills the lungs with oxygen and purify the blood. So it's very important if you have a closed house to open the windows before it gets too hot or later at night to recycle the air. And also for you to go walk early in the morning or later before sunset is fine. And so you can breathe the pure air and also exercise walking 1 hour. The next one, and that's it. We're just talking about ventilate your house and sunlight, because you really need vitamin D. You need to expose your skin at least 20 minutes, like could be before 10 or after 4, but you really need that sunlight. And people who get flu, colds all the time is because they are deficient on vitamin D. And also you're going to be very tired if you don't have enough vitamin D. And then prevention of all disease, like when people are sick, you have to isolate that they are contagious or contaminate disease. Diet, the best diet is the original diet, and you have to follow the Leviticus book, clean versus unclean, because that law didn't change. God's instructed in all the principles essential to physical as well to the moral health. So that's mean if you follow God's direction, you're gonna have excellent physical and also moral. You're gonna moral health, like means spiritually you're gonna do very well obeying God's law. And then you have to have always gratitude. And even for a Christian, even if today is bad, tomorrow is another day. If it is God is for you, who can be against you? So you always need to rejoice, doesn't matter what, because God can change, and tomorrow is another day, could be better. So gratitude, rejoice, benevolence, trust in God, love and care. These are health greatest safeguards. So you have to always be happy. Now, next one. Here, these diets, there is no diet that beat this one, because that's the what the original diet that God gave to us is grain, fruits, nuts, vegetable constitutes diet chose for us by God, by our Creator. And here, Hyprox say, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." I still want you today. You can use medicine to help you reverse your health problems. You still can use food as a medicine. Now, the next one, even if we didn't have the Bible, and even if we didn't know about the original diet or Daniel's diet, we still can look to the microscope and see your DNA. That's the pattern how to eat. This is the correct way to should eat. 50% of your daily food should be phosphates. What is phosphate? Fruits, vegetables, 4 calories, and water. 30% complete sugar, be grains and roots, and 20% nitrates. Could be not necessary animal protein, but could be plant-based protein, like beans is protein, barley is a protein, and nuts and good fats, avocado. So this is the real pyramids how to eat daily your food. Next one. And here it's a proof that Daniel's diet is still worked for them, it still will be working for us. So we remember the story on Daniel's chapter 1, verse 5. And the king appointed then a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank. So nourished them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananias, Mishael, and Azarias. And the next one, now we saw that after 3 years on that diet, they brought them before the king. And let's see the results. As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now, at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the principal of the eunuchs brought them in before Nabuchodonosor. And the king communed with them, and among them all was found none like Daniel, Ananias, Misael, and Azarias. Therefore stood they before the king, and in all matters of wisdom and understand that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm. So that means that diet, there is no better diet than that one. Okay, and that was proven that for 3 years those kids ate the vegetables, original diets, and there was nobody smarter than them or look healthy than they were. Next one. And uh, and here on the spiritual prophecy says improper eating cause it's a cause of disease. So how we correct that? First, we have to follow the food combination chart because you need to know how to combine food. Like, for example, when you eat animal products with carbs, 30 minutes later after you eat, you're going to be sleepy because it's a bad combination. Like, if you combine watermelon with any other fruits, it's going to, one is too much sugar, especially if you eat at night. The fruits is better to eat in the morning, but it's you cannot combine melons with any other fruits or watermelon because they are meal itself with fibers and everything that you need. So when you're gonna eat, you eat only melon or watermelon. You don't mix with anything. And the preference, you have to eat your meal, your fruits in the morning, and then wait for digestion. Then you eat another things. And you have to be regular in eating. You have to sit down and make a time to eat the same hour every day. And the number of meals, like we need at least 2 meals for a day. 3 meals only if you work, have weights or do too much exercise, then you need 3 meals per day. And between meals, you have to have 5 hours apart, especially if you eat heavy meals. And in no eating anything between meals, nothing, because when you, like, for example, you just ate a meal 10 o'clock and then 11 o'clock you have a snack. What you did, you have to stop the whole process of digestion. It starts again, so you delaying digestion. It's just you're gonna have a stomach ache, but not because you're hungry, it's because your stomach is tired. And one of the main causes of disease is overeating, because when you overeat, you're gonna be like, might be obese, and you're gonna be insulin resistant too. And once you're insulin resistant, you can be diabetic. Uh, the drink, no drink with meals. You can drink plenty water you want 30 minutes before meals, and if you forget, 2 hours after meals. And don't eat your dinner after 6 p.m. because if you go to bed 10 o'clock, all the food needs to be digested before you go to bed, because otherwise you're going to end up with hernia hiatal, and if you don't stop, you're going to have GI bleeding because you're going to have esophagitis. And next one. So here's the cause of disease. Disease never comes without a cause. So you always need to look for a root. When the abuse of the health is carried so far, sickness is the result. So fast food, because why the fast food is bad? Because they put sugar in everything. So if you look your pictures on the 1970s and 1980s, nobody was obese, and now all this processed food has hidden sugar and salt. That's why we have high blood pressure, because that salt is not, they took it off all the minerals, so that rises your blood pressure. But if you eat Himalaya salt, sea salt, Celtic salt, is not going to rise your blood pressure. And then chemotrails, aluminum is one of the main causes of Alzheimer's. Chemotrail, fear. So you should not be watching your TV too much because it's only bad news. And now we know the main one is inflammation. The inflammation is caused by your diet, and then fluoride water. It's a bad for you, and virus and 5G. Now they launched 6G. So our body's not using to those frequencies. Like you should never wear the phone on your body because you never use the headphones too. I use the old wire one because and each time someone call me, if I'm by myself, I answer the phone on the speaker. If I'm not, I put the wire, but I don't use anything to increase radiation on my brain or my body. The next one here, the real cause of death is not the cholesterol. It's the food that causes inflammation. Because when you eat those foods, they're gonna cause blood and brain inflammation. And when you eat those food, three things is gonna appear in your blood. It's gonna be CRP, creatine protein, and that's mean you have inflammation, fibrinogen, and then homocysteine and lipoprotein A. They only is going to be on your blood when you eat those foods because they really are part of immune system defense. If you don't eat foods that cause no inflammation, you should not have those. So it's not your cholesterol that's going to kill you. It's the food that rises the CRP, homocysteine, and lipoprotein A, and they clogged up your arteries because they really patching the holes that you did. So food or drinks that cause inflammation, alcohol, gluten, gliadin is a neurotox, dairy, casein is a neurotox, fried foods make holes in your arteries, bread with a bromine or drinks with bromines. When you have, if you are eating things with bromine, you're gonna have red dots. It's called sherry angiomas, red moles. MSG is number one cause for migraines. Number one cause of migraines. Carraging is stabilizers that they eat. Like if you buy coconut milk and try to buy carraging free because it's a stabilizer. GMO, genetic modified foods, they have 10 worst genetic modified foods. One of them is zucchini, another one of them is soya. There is a list of 10 most genetically modified foods. How do we know when it's modified? Because there is no seed. Like papaya uh, has no seeds. Watermelon, no seeds. So they are genetic modified foods. So get away from them. And processed food, all processed fooders has plenty sugar and salt. That's why we're busy, because if you go back on history, we're gonna see that the first diabetes case. Now they start in Egypt already, but they have a lot of tooth decay. But when they first found out about the diabetes is because when they discovered they start processing the sugar, and the sugar was king's diet only. All the sweets, desserts that they offer for the kings, so that most of the kings had the rotten tea, and then they start getting sick. When then the physicians they noticed, they call diabetics because they noticed that the bugs, especially ants, goes on the pee because it's sweet. So that's when they discovered that diabetes. So was the real cause of diabetes sugar. the and then we have a parasite called erythema pancreaticum that goes to your pancreas and destroy your cells there. Table salt, you have to buy sea salt, Celtic salt, or Himalaya salt, any salt that is natural. Table salt, they took it off all the minerals, and that one will rise your blood pressure. Artificial sugars, your body cannot process. Your body only knows how to process natural things. Like, for example, if you eat mango that is very sweet, you can have like 300 glucose, but in few hours your body can process. But when you eat anything that has artificial sugars, the body doesn't know what to do, turn into fatty cells. If you drink sodas every single day, in 30 days you have a fatty liver in 30 days. Caffeine, is toxins for the brain and also for the liver. and it's irritates the colon, and it creates myelin thinning. Like, for example, here's a pen, and this cover here is the myelin. If the person drink 3 or 4 cups per day, the myelin's thinning, you're going to have a temporary Alzheimer's. Doesn't mean that you have dementia, it's just that your myelin is thin. And there's the cough that does that. And the research lately discovered that when you drink too much coffee daily, you deprive your brain 30% of oxygen. And sodas has caffeine and sugar. And then oils hydrogenate, like canola, vegetable oils. You can still use oil, like, for example, when to cook, I use coconut oil or avocado oil, because they can you can put in a medium heat, because you cannot rise the temperature, and when you smoke, you already wasted. So, and olive oil, after the food is cooked, I like to put in the beans. And like, if you have constipation, just 1 tablespoon for adults, or 2 tablespoons of olive oil makes you go to the bathroom. And for kids that are constipated, 1 teaspoon. So olive oil is very good. And it's no spice food. The only spice that I use is cayenne pepper. And because, like, one time I was working in the hospital, and one kid, a doctor's kid, was in the hospital with a severe gastritis, a lot of pain. And then came a gastroenterologist, and he was not a Seventh-day Adventist, but I never forget what he told to the kid. She was a teenager, and he say, before you take anything to your stomach, you have to put in your eyes. If it doesn't hurt your eyes, can go in your stomach. So he was talking about the spice food. So I never forgot what he said to her. Next slide. Here, one thing that we're doing wrong is, like, people leave their water in the cars, and you're getting a lot of plastic. Or you can go to the groceries or convenience store, and you buy the water bottles that is outside. So this one has, when the heat touches the plastic, releases chemicals, and also plastic. And days and autopsies now, they reveal that people are dying has 1 teaspoon full of microplastic in human brains. So we need to really be careful and stop using plastic, and store your food. And when you, like, people still using microwave, you should not, like, and glass containers. Okay. And this juice, when you buy juices, needs to be clear juices, because the juice, you can go to the store 24 hours, look like that, has plastic, liquid plastic. Because when you do the orange juice at home, you're going to see that in 30 minutes the pulp is in the bottom and the water is in the top. So people is getting a high dose of microplastic lately, because they drink coffee on the styrofoam. So all this is releasing plastic. Next one. And here another cause that people, it's highly they sick because dehydration. And here how should look like the pee when they hydrate. The pee should be light clear. Usually the first pee is yellow, but because you slept through the night, but during the day it should be between 1 and 3. And when you dehydrate, the you're gonna have cramps. When you have dehydration, then nighttime you're gonna have cramps, and then you can take 3 capsules of calcium, magnesium, potassium at night, and it'll resolve that. But it could be really dehydration. And during this time of the years, hot summer, old people, they tend to work on the garden, and they forget to drink water. They evaporate, and then they end up in the ER because they low in potassium. It's just the dehydration. Okay, so make sure you drink water with minerals. The next one. Another reason that people are sick is because when they eat foods that they're not supposed to eat, they have called leaky gut syndrome. Anxiety comes from that. So that's mean what causes leaky gut syndrome? Bad bacteria, food particles, virus, toxins, vaccines, all these cause that. So this is a beautiful column, like the walls and the villas. So here they are closed. And then when we damage, they open gaps between those villas. And then when you eat, like for example, peanuts, and if a little piece of peanuts go undigested here, you're going to have allergies. So that's how people, allergies really a holes in your gut. Like undigested particle food goes in your gut, and then you're going to have allergies. So how we fix that? You have to close those gaps. You have to fix your lining of the gut, and then allergy goes away. And then you have to detox, like every 6 months for to take the trash out. And what happened when you have anxiety and panic attack is the same thing. When you eat animal products and undigested animal product particles called peptides go here on the bloodstream and they land in your brain, anxiety and panic attack. Usually it's nighttime because they eat a heavy meal at night. So usually they're going to wake up with a racing heart and things like that. But if they don't fix the gut, I have people that couldn't even get out from the house. They couldn't even go to work or drive a car. So, but it's all reversible. You really need to fix the gut. Okay, next one. And another thing that we need to take it off from our body is kill the bugs. Like how we get those bugs. Like each time you buy your food, you should clean up the food. Like for example, you can put it like 15 minutes in vinegar, baking soda, so you can clean take the bugs away. And another thing, when you put like I buy my fruits and vegetables and clean them and soak on 50 minutes of water with vinegar, what it does, because God put the microbes outside of the skin. Like when you do the water and the vinegar, the vegetable will last longer than 5 days because the fruits and vegetables start going bad from outside to inside. It's because the bugs. So when you put the water and vinegar, you clean up the bugs outside, so the food will last a little bit. And plus, when you buy the food on free market, they don't pass radiation. It's not good to buy food radiate that lasts 2 weeks because with no enzymes, it won't be no nutrition either. So you have to buy really fresh fruits. But they only last 5 days. But if you put soak them in water, vinegar, or baking soda, they will last longer. Okay, and how we get those bugs? By not washing the fruits or salads, and also by not masticating. If you don't sit down and masticate 32 times your food, the saliva is the first thing to kill those bugs. And if you swallow your food, the gastric juice is not going to do the job, and cannot do the job without the saliva, because the saliva is the first defense. So the bugs still can survive. Then you're going to have candida and parasites. That's how we get parasites inside your body. Is because one, you don't have the hygiene with the food, and the second one is because you don't masticate the food well. Because the stomach doesn't have a teeth, so you have to do here and the mouth. And this is the first defense for parasites. Next one. Here it's a beautiful blood. Our blood should be like this one is a little sticky, even though it's a beautiful blood formation. Your blood should look like that. That's a healthy blood. It's still a little bit acidic, that person, because it still stick together. Okay, but the blood should look like that. And this one, the blood is dirty. You see, it has bacteria, it has a lot of stuff there that should not be. And this is we call acidic blood, and this is called alkaline blood. So you can have alkaline blood, like if you drink a cup of coffee, your blood will be stick together like this, just a cup of coffee. Okay, because breaks the outside magnetism, so they stick together. And here it's acidic and dirty blood. So if you remember that the health is in the blood, if you want to be healthy, the blood needs to be clean. And so you have to put the good foods to have a clean blood. Next one. Also, you should have labs like every 6 months at least do the lab work. Like for example, you can do the basic wellness screen for men and women, and you can check your H1C because a lot of people, even though they're not diabetic, but they're insulin resistance. So you need to even then you insulin resistance, but you can take some natural medicine as you are diabetic just to put your pancreas back on to normal. And then you check homocysteine, SAD rate, CRP, and lipo A2. But usually the labs, when it's for wellness, they won't check that, just homocysteine, SAD rate. Remember, when you eat foods that cause inflammation, you're going to have elevate homocysteine and SAD rate. So that means it's too much inflammation in your blood. You're going to have too much fibrins. And then you check your level of vitamin D, because if your vitamin D it's very low, you're going to be tired, and also you can have flu on the winter time. And iron, because a lot of people is deficient of iron, and when they are deficient of iron, they're going to have nails like a spoon, and also their hair can fall, and also children will have crazy taste, like they crave for ice, they will eat chalk, they will eat crazy stuff. And I always check the urine because a lot of people has chronic infection and they don't know. And this is a place that you can do the lab, STHS. They will do a wellness health screen. Okay, next one. And when you have a heart problem, means one thing only: you clogged up. So that means your colon is dirty, your liver is dirty, and your gallbladder, your kidney is dirty, and your lymphatic, oh, this is supposed to be L, your lymphatic system is clogged up. The heart is the last one to go. So that means if you don't want to have a heart problem, what you have to do? Clean up all four. You have to do colon cleans, liver gallbladder flush, kidney cleans, and the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system, you can buy a trampoline or a jump, like 15 minutes jumping, you can clean up your lymphatic system. Or if you have those electrical ones, like 10 minutes, you clean daily your lymphatic system. The next one. And here another thing that, like usually when you overeat, when you're diabetic, when you have high blood pressure, when you have chronic degenerative disease, the best thing is to go and fasting. But actually, if you eat correctly, you are already doing intermediate fasting. Because if your last meal is 6 p.m., and then you're going to eat the next day 8 p.m., is already intermediate fasting. And if you eat twice a day and 5 hours apart, so you should not be sick. And if you do well your diet. But here is just for you to know that fasting, like for example, if you need to reboot, like to start burning fat, 72 hours autophagy, and many things happen when you go autophagy. But if you're not used to fasting, like when you're sick, it's good to do 2 or 3 days fasting on juicing for the body to recover. And if you wanted to change your like a taste for foods, for simple foods, you can do like skip one meal a week, and then you can increase it so you can start getting better on fasting. But fasting do wonders. Okay, next one. Here's the autophagy, what it does. Autophagy needs to be 72 hours. But if you're not used to that, you can start skipping one meal or skip one day eating per week until you can get this autophagy. It's your body's natural reset button, detox, renew, and cleanse your body. Clearing infections, pathogens, viruses, bacteria, activate your anti-aging pathway, prevent cancer, prevents neurodegenerative disease, regulates inflammation, enhances immune function, enhances cellular energy, enhances muscle performance. In other words, reboots. If, especially if you are dopamine addict. And here, the next one. So here it's called the eight natural remedies. Doesn't matter how sick you are, doesn't matter what kind of diet you had, doesn't matter what you have done. You're sick. Just by following these eight natural remedies, you can recover your health if it's not too far gone. Okay. First, nutrition. We saw that nutrition was the original diet or Daniel's diet. Exercise, you need to walk daily at least 1 hour. If you cannot walk 1 hour, could be 15 minutes until you increase to 1 hour, cleans up your arteries. I used to work in cardiology, and then one time came a patient. He was old, and I was asking the medications he take, and he was telling me, "Oh, I used to have four arteries clogged up on my heart." And I didn't take no and the doctor told me that I have to do open heart surgery, and refuse. And then he took it from his pocket, a letter, 10 years old letter, that the doctor say is not that he wasn't he refused the surgery. And then he was proudly showing the letter to me and say, "I don't have no health problems no more. All my arteries are clean." And I say, "What you have done?" He say, "I changed my diet, and today I walk 5 miles, 4 miles per day." So it's just like changing his lifestyle and walking. He cleared up all his arteries. So water, we should have at least 2 liters of water per day or more, but make sure your water has minerals. Sunlight, you have to take at least 20 minutes twice a day. Could be before 10 o'clock or after 4, because you need the vitamin D. And temperance, so that's mean temperance, it means common sense, like don't overdo and don't do for less. You have to have a middle line. Air, we need to, that you need to go out, and the studies that when you go hiking, when you go in the woods, you feel much better, so because it's a fresh air. And but you walk you can open the windows to refrigerate, like before 10, before early in the morning or later the evening, for to refrigerate the air, no. And rest, we need to be in bed 10 o'clock, because the body needs to have 2 hours of sleeping to start releasing the hormones. And one of the hormones, the growth hormones, that will give you a good memory and energy for the next day. Is many other hormones, but the main one is the growth hormones. So if you sleep every day 10 o'clock, you're going to see the difference on your life. And trusting God, because this, doctors are only teachers. We only teach you what to do or not to do, but the healing only comes from one person, it's God. And his answer is yes, no, and wait. But he only have pressure to answer our prayers when we do our parts. He's not gonna do for you what you can do. Like, you have to take the first step to change your lifestyle, and he'll give you strength to do it. And the last one, like, if you really wanna, if you're sick already, you wanna recover your health, we know you have to clean your colon, liver, kidney, lymphatic system. And then you have to eliminate the pathogenic microorganism, virus, bacteria, parasites, and fungi. And you have to flush out heavy metals, microplastic, graphene oxide, graphene hydrox, toxins, and carcinogens. And then you have to restore your intestinal flora, because remember, anxiety and panic attack is a gut issue. So you have to fix your gut. Modify your lifestyles and diet. Go back to the original diet if you can. Daniel's diet. Exercise and proper rest. Exercise, walking is the best exercise. 1 hour per day if you can. And be in bed 10 o'clock p.m. And proper supplementation, vitamins and minerals from whole food source. Next one. Here's some supplements that you can take daily. Magnesium is a must. Magnesium, I like magnesium chloride, because if you have arthritis, 3 months can clear arthritis, like 1 ounce. If it's liquid, usually it's the package is 50 milligrams for 2 liters of water, it will be 1 ounce 3 times a day, or capsule, one capsule twice a day. In 3 months, clears up arthritis, calcification, and kidney stones. Prevents kidney stones and liver gallbladder stones. That is really it's crystallized bile. Lugol's iodine is a must for everybody. Everybody's deficient of iodine, and the salt with iodine is not the same thing, because iodine, it's a gas. Like when they remove the sea salt, they evaporate, and the ones that they do, like add iodine, is not the same. It's synthetic. It needs to be natural form, like so the Lugol iodine, kelp has iodine. So Lugol's iodine is a must for everybody. Like if we do a thermal imaging, everybody has inflammation on the thyroid because lack of iodine. Vitamin C is a must, and vitamin E, because they are two antioxidants. One's neutralize free radical of water, and these neutralize free radicals of fat. This prevents damage on the liver. Right, the alpha tocopherol. Don't buy the oil, synthetic. And then liver tea, because most of people has liver problem, fatty liver, so that's a good for fatty liver. Myomine to balance the hormones. Everybody, men over 35 needs to start drinking, because they can have men has prior heart attacks than women. Illness 40, men starts 35, and they really lacking magnesium and progesterone. Something so simple. And zinc is very good, because the helps with the immune system, especially with a virus. It helps with the virus not to multiply, stops virus multiplication. And then leaky gut, because all your problems, it starts on the gut. When you have a brain problem, that means your gut is gone. And when you have any disease, your heart is gone too, because the immune system comes from the gut. Because if you got dirty, blood is dirty, no immune system, and you become sick. The next one. And here's a few supplements that can fix your gut. Total leaky gut, gastro, and the Boombiotic is a suppository. And this one fixes your gut quickly because it's internally. And if you really fix your gut, changes your personality, like you're more easygoing. Because if you don't have the flora working for you, we are in trouble. And the last one, that is from the Word of God, from the book of the Lord. If you diligently heed the voice of your Lord in your God, and do what is right in his sight, give ear to his commandments, and keep his statutes. What we study here was statutes about health, the health laws. I will put none of disease on you, which I have brought to the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. Exodus 15:26. So that God's, like I say before, the healing comes from God. And Psalm 103:3-4, God say, I am your God that forgive your sin. Why God say, I forgive you before you heal? Because we trespass the health laws. Today, what we study was health laws. And once you know those laws and you start agree, the body reverses. And God say, I'll heal you all disease, not one disease, all. So for God, there is no disease, there's no cure. But we have to follow the health laws. I hope it was clear that doesn't matter what the science tells you, if you don't prove to the Bible and Ellen G. White books, Constance on Health, Diet, and Food Healing Ministry. And so I think God's word never will be old because he creates you and he knows how your body works. So if he say it's written in stone. And thank you for watching. And I hope you learn that how you can be healthy if you're sick, how to reverse. Thanks for watching.